It's playoff time. Whoop, whoop. Let's get hyped.
Whoop.
Changing here. McDavid, beautiful move. Front back the ball, over to Crosby. He scores! Crosby, 500!
Watch this play between the legs, comes right back to him.
But man, oh man, has his kid got some hands.
The net, it looks like he's going for the old Michigan. He brings it up. Miller goes to knock it off. He shoots it in front.
Oh, what a pass!
Away, gains the zone around Kubalik. Back to Foligno, he scores!
With a lot of mustard on it.
Ovechkin scores! The Grade 8 Express pulls into third place all time.
This is the Pucked Up Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pucked Up Podcast. I am Chris. Joined with me, as always, are the two lovely ladies, Dee and Danger.
Hello.
You guys, it's playoff time!
It's finally
It's playoff
fucking playoff
time.
season.
Obviously, at the time of recording, we are about to get everyone's first game of their series wrapped up. So we record this on Tuesdays. So yeah, like I say, let's get right into some stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the playoff brackets first, so
Let's
everyone's
do it.
aware of what's going on.
Sure.
In the Eastern Conference, your matchups are the Boston Bruins are playing the Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Carolina Hurricanes are facing off against the New York Islanders, and the New York Rangers are playing the New Jersey Devils. I was just about to say the Winnipeg Jets. They're not playing
nope.
the Rangers.
Certainly not.
On the West Coast, Colorado Avalanche are playing the Seattle Kraken. The Dallas Stars are playing the Minnesota Wild. The Vegas Golden Knights are playing the Winnipeg Jets. There they are. And the Edmonton Oilers are playing the LA Kings. Honestly, these are all really great matchups. I feel like a lot of them can go either way. Honestly, all of them. I think all of them can genuinely go anyway.
Either
because
direction.
we've all watched playoff hockey, and we know that anything can fucking happen. You know,
Ain't that the truth?
Right.
So
I do have to say, because we were flipping back and forth between the Wild game and the Oilers Kings game last night, and the Kings really brought a whole new level in their third period and ended up winning in overtime, 4-3. But the Oilers were ahead 3-1, for the majority of what we saw, which was
Yeah.
The last period and a half, probably.
yeah,
So and I'm all for it. I love to hate Edmonton. And Fiala plays for the Kings, although he didn't play last night. But it was pretty interesting.
Right.
But that was a good game. I didn't get to watch the Bruins or the Hurricanes game. I saw the last scoring goal for the Hurricanes, but which was a nice goal too.
Sebastian Aho, not that
Yeah.
Sebastian Aho.
You know,
the other
one
Sebastian.
Sebastian Aho will win this round, though.
That is very true.
I did
You
see.
can bet on Sebastian.
Did you share that picture, Dee?
I did, yeah.
I saw it on Facebook too, but it made me laugh so hard. We
Yeah.
guarantee Sebastian Aho will win this round, and it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny.
To me, it's funny how much the Ahos look alike, too.
I know,
If I
and
didn't
they're
know
not
any
even-
better,
they're
I would
not
say they were
related whatsoever.
related. Yeah.
Right?
Which is
And they're not
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
whatsoever. So
No.
Here's a fun fact about
Um,
the Stanley Cup. Created in 1892. It is older than crossword puzzles, which were invented in 1913.
Wow.
It is older than Albert Einstein's E=mc², which he said famously in 1905. It is older than the air conditioner, which was invented in 1902,
Well, no shit.
and it is older than the airplane, which is invented in 1903.
wow.
Lord Stanley.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is actually
Yeah.
crazy.
It's nuts to
Yeah.
think that that's that old. And
Yeah.
we, to
Right.
this day, are still having people hoist the Stanley Cup. Obviously,
And
it's
now
very different,
we've had to ban keg stands from the Stanley Cup
which is
Right.
lame.
because it's so old.
Lame.
Well, yeah, but it does make sense. I do remember being
It does
a
make sense.
younger kid, adult, teenager, however, I don't remember how old I was, which means I was probably very little, but we saw the Stanley Cup in person.
Oh,
I saw-
that'd be
I don't even
saw it-
remember where I was, but it's fucking beautiful.
I saw it in
You know.
2013 when the Blackhawks won. Patrick Sharp owns a place in Connecticut, actually where I
Okay.
went to high school.
Hmm.
And he actually took it to that area in Connecticut and
Oh, that's
like
cool.
had a big fan meetup, and I
Yeah.
got to touch a Stanley Cup, and yeah, like you said,
That's
it's
Right.
dope.
it's unlike any other trophy in sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think from what I remember, I didn't get to touch it because the line was so long, but
Yeah.
we got to see it.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, maybe this was a fever dream. I don't fucking know, but
Maybe this
it's like
didn't
one of
actually
those things
happen.
that's so real that I'm like, it had to have happened,
Had
but
to
I
have
was
happened.
probably like under
Yeah.
6,
Right.
when it
Right.
actually did.
So, yeah.
I should ask my grandma because she would know if it
She would
was
know.
a dream or not. Yeah, because I would have gone with her, like if
Yeah.
it was real. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's real, my whole life is a lie.
Well, so as of recording right now, in the first period, the Kraken are up 1-0.
Yeah,
Let's
I was just looking
go.
at that.
The Lightning just
So-
won 7-3.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and so I just was gonna talk about like the games from last night. So the Hurricanes won over the Islanders 2-1.
Yep.
The Bruins won over the Panthers 3-1. The Wild beat the Stars in 2 overtimes.
That's
My
nuts.
heart could not handle it last night.
Yeah. I'd be going nuts though.
It was an amazing game. Even people like in the Wild groups on Facebook, when the refs called a call like our way, because they're notoriously hateful on the Wild, and everybody feels that to an extent, but
Right.
like we have a lot of calls that are bullshit called against us or not called on the other team. But they were like, did a call just go our way? So like I was encouraged by the level of roughing, at least in our game last night too,
Mhm.
which is a good thing. Jake Ottinger, though, I got to give him a shout out. He did a hell of a job last night.
He's such a good goaltender.
Yeah.
He really is. And being from Minnesota, I guess Ryan Suter was a little salty because he made some post when he played for the Wild. A bunch of people just called him a pylon because he stood around and didn't do much.
I mean, he did.
But he like tweeted or said something about, I'm gonna make sure that Minnesota wins this round because all I am is a pylon.
I mean, that's
And
funny.
so
That is
I was
funny.
like, Grandma's like, well, clearly he was reading some of the fan comments. I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't get to be salty about it because that's what he did when he played here. Maybe him getting
Yeah.
traded is what he needed to wake the fuck up and remember he needed to play hockey for a living,
Yeah.
Because we bought
what they
Suter
were
out when they
fucking
bought
paying. When they bought out
Parise.
Parise, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one's going to be the fun matchup to watch, though, because Minnesota and Dallas are very evenly matched.
We are.
So I think
and that's
that
such
one's going to be like
hard part.
I think that's
Yeah.
going to be the number one like first round series to watch.
Yeah. But it was a great game. I mean, both teams played really hard. We had the better first period. They had the better second period and most of the third period. And then overtime, I mean, that's a fucking over 60 minutes of, 100 minutes of full hockey it was or something with 2 overtimes. And it was almost, the second overtime was almost over by the time we scored. So it could have gone into 3, which is absolutely insane for a game 1. And then, the Kings beat the Oilers 4-3. And then tonight we've got the Jets are up on Vegas 1-0. In the second period, the Kraken, and the Avs scored now, so it's 1-1.
Okay, so it's 1-1.
Yeah, they just scored.
Yeah. The Rangers beat the Devils 5-1. And then the Lightning, beat the Maple Leafs 7-3, which is a big one.
I think the Rangers score. I'm never gonna discount the New Jersey Devils because they are really fucking good. But I think it's a statement to everybody. from the Rangers that say, "Hey, we're not playing around anymore."
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and
I still think they're going to lose,
absolutely.
but I think it was a statement for sure.
I think they will too.
I honestly don't know. That one I have no idea who's going to win.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Rangers because I feel like they've put all of their chips in the basket of we've got everything we need. Let's just go get it done.
Right.
Whereas the Devils are like, hey, we're here to prove that we're not shit anymore, and I like that. But I think that they're missing a couple pieces. I really think goaltending is something that they really need to, narrow down to get a good pairing and make sure you're getting people that are consistent. Because that dude, that team has 2 Hughes brothers.
Yeah.
The future's bright there.
Absolutely.
But I think the Rangers are like, we've waited and we've gotten close, but it's our time again,
Right. Just saying the Wild have never won the cup. Minnesota has never won the cup.
Which is crazy.
It's for how many great hockey players that we've had play through Minnesota, and being that so many NHLers at least train here, if not play, even in minors and high school or college and stuff. The fact that we've never won a cup is absolutely crazy. And so projections be damned. I'm going hardcore for the Wild. Shocking, I know.
There are 4 teams in the playoffs that are chasing their first cup too.
Are there? Okay.
Kraken.
I don't pay attention.
Golden Knights.
Well, the
Florida
Kraken's in their
Panthers.
second year.
Yeah. Well, I mean the Avalanche won a Stanley Cup their first year, so I mean it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
But it's
I know.
The Wild, the Kraken, the Golden Knights, and the Florida Panthers.
When did Florida become a team? I'm curious.
1998.
Okay, and Vegas has been more recent than that, and then the Kraken.
2018,
2017.
So yeah, Florida.
I'm sorry, the Winnipeg
Florida's
Jets have never won one either.
Winnipeg Jets haven't ever won?
No. Nope.
Wow.
Oh.
There's quite a few teams that have never made it.
It's 5 teams.
Which is impressive. I mean, surprising too.
Yeah. In the history of
I mean, at least
the NHL,
yeah, Florida's been a team longer than the Wild have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know about other teams because even the North Stars, at least as far as I know, have never won a cup. I don't think the North Stars ever did. I know they haven't in my lifetime.
Islanders have won a few. Obviously Tampa's won 4. Toronto has won, but they haven't won any since 1967.
Right.
Carolina has one. The Devils have one, or Devils have several. Same with the Rangers. The Kings have 2. The Oilers have a bunch. Dallas, the Stars have 2 or 1. I think they have either 1 or
2 now.
2. And the Avalanche have 3.
Okay. So yeah, the North Stars never did win a cup. We made it to the final round twice.
Yes, they got close.
But never won it. From 67. So from 67 to 93 is when the Stars were active, and they made the playoffs 17 times. But never. And this, I mean, of the last 11 seasons, the Wild have made the playoffs 10 of the 11 seasons. More recent 11 seasons, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we normally forget that we play hockey and lose it in the first round.
We just had our first tee time on the golf course.
Right?
Yeah.
I did see a quote today, and I forget. Oh, I think it was Eichels from Vegas, and he said, we end up lucky being stationed or found here where we're in this big metropolitan area because most teams end up coming 3 or 4 days early, and then they get the Vegas flu.
Yeah.
Which because they go spend so much time on the strip and everything, then they're all jacked up and tired and so I'm that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. And I've been to Vegas, I've seen T-Mobile Arena. It's on the strip. It's not even outside, it's literally on the strip.
Right.
Yeah.
So not a lot of teams play in the center of their city.
Right.
start
Right.
from play on the
Yeah,
outskirts.
exactly.
Yeah.
So makes sense. But overall, I'm excited to see what the first round brings. Like
Yes.
I am
big
too.
time. Because
I'm-
all of these
I'm-
matchups are great.
I'm
Yeah,
Don't
more.
sleep on Florida either. Don't sleep on Florida at all.
No. Oh God, no.
They've got a really good young goaltender situation. The team has promise. I think I'm not going to sit here and say that the Bruins are going to sweep them because I don't think the Bruins are going to sweep anyone.
I don't think so either,
don't
but
think
I
so?
also don't think that that's going to be the most exciting series to watch out of all of
No.
these.
No.
Like I
Yeah.
think the Canes Islanders matchup is going to be fun to watch. The
Oh, yeah.
Rangers
Yeah.
Devils matchup for sure. And then
Yeah.
obviously the Stars and Wild matchup. Those are the ones that I'm like really, really interested in watching because I think not only are we going to see great hockey in terms of the play and the ingenuity of those teams, but I also think that it's going to be hard hitting, aggressive, physical hockey as well. Sometimes a little bit too much, maybe. Especially like the Hurricanes, I think can sometimes get a little carried away. But I think those are going to be fun games, no matter what game it is. You know what I mean? Whereas I
Right.
think we're going to get bored of watching teams like, honestly, the Jets Vegas matchup. I don't think it's going to be all that exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I guess we might as well jump right into the question of the week. Which I know we've been talking about, but let's change this. So while we're talking playoffs, which team do you think is going to provide the most entertainment in the playoffs? Not just pairing, because we're talking about obviously pairing, but let's change it up. Which team do you think is going to be the most exciting?
That is a different question.
He's woefully unprepared for that question.
I think the Kraken, actually, because I think if we see them move forward and in every game we see them in, I think we're going to see a different level of joy than we'd see out of some of the other teams where this is sort of like old hat. They've done it before. A lot of these teams, as we've talked about, have been through this before. And this is the first year that the Kraken have had a playoff bid.
Yeah, it's the first time they've been
And so
there.
I think that is going to
Right.
be entertainment all on its own.
Right.
Fair.
What do you think,
Very
Danger?
fair. I mean, of course, I gotta say the Wild because I do think that that's a great
Right.
pairing. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's going to go well.
If that series doesn't go 7, I'll be shocked. If I'm being real, I'll be shocked if it doesn't go 7.
We have a tendency to, especially this season, for loving overtime and fucking shootouts. And I think it'll go 7. I am hopeful,
Agreed.
especially being that we won the first game, because it's like this season too. If we could score first, we had a higher likelihood of winning the game.
Right.
When we scored first, and so we not only scored first last night, but we won the first game. So I'm hoping that we can ride that, especially being that we're in Dallas. Because winning in Dallas has always been hard.
Right.
But so I do think that the Wild are going to be fun to watch.
You guys have so
even
many
on the
late
outside,
games. Holy shit.
I know.
We do have a lot.
Like your next 2 games are 9:30 starts, even though one of them is
last
in
night
Minnesota.
was too.
Welcome to my
last
world,
night
guys.
was too.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm the West Coast hockey fan.
And with the 2 overtimes last night, I mean, it wasn't over till after 1. I think it was like 1:30.
I know, because Danger and I were texting that last night.
Yeah, we
and
were
it was like
messaging
1:00,
back and
and
forth.
she's like, "There's another fucking overtime." I forget what I was doing. I wasn't able to watch the game, but I was like, "No way."
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because we had just won in the second overtime at 1:00 in the morning. Because I forgot that I put it.
That was nuts.
Because at like 12:48, I'm like, this mess got me stressed with a gif in our chat.
Yeah.
Because it was so much, and then it was like, "Fuck yeah, bitches, we won in the second." Woo.
There you go.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Those
other
games are
than
nuts,
that, I do. Where did my other list go? Let me look back at the teams again. the Jets are up 2-0
2-0
now.
right now. Yeah.
Wow.
They're on power play last time I checked.
I do think the Devils are going to be fun. I had forgotten until I was researching for another topic that we're going to talk about in a second, that Andrew Brunette is their assistant coach, and we love Bruno around here. But they were talking about a little bit of how much he's done by going to New Jersey, and they're crediting him because he's looking up for potential. He's on the list of what people are saying for some of these replacement head coaches.
Yeah.
We need one.
Yeah.
We need one.
But yeah, I kind of am just most excited about the Wild. I mean, Hurricanes, I was really excited to see the Hurricanes win last night. Because
The Hurricanes are always exciting. That's, they're that team that you're going to get something fun, especially when they win at home. All the storm
Just
surge is
watching
like
their
the best
coach
fucking thing.
You're in for something, because Rob
Oh, yeah.
Brindamore is a fucking lunatic.
He really
Like,
is. but
he
he's so
goes
sweet.
nuts. And so that is all the entertainment you could ever hope for.
I agree with D, though. Like, that is my team that I think is going to be not only shocking to a lot of people, but electric. The fucking Kraken, man. That team, not only have they found a way to win, but they found a way to become they found a place in most hockey fans' hearts.
Yeah.
As a team you want to cheer for. They're in my team's division. I should hate them, but I find myself always just cheering for them because it's like you just want to see them be successful.
Yeah.
The first ever American team to win a Stanley Cup was a team based in Seattle. So, the Seattle Metropolitans. So, the city that knows how to win championships. Obviously, the Seahawks, and when they had the Seattle Supersonics. I mean, the baseball, not really, because the Mariners have always kind of sucked. But like, the city has won championships, and they are always behind their team. So, I think the Kraken, and I think they might. I think they can shock a lot of people by winning this first round.
I would love to see the Kraken take the Avs out.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
For more reasons than one, right, Danger?
Yeah. Right. Oh, totally. But and I'm not like, I don't hate the Avs as a secondary team. I have family in Denver. Well, outside of Denver, but
you have family everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I welcome to my life. But I've never hated the Avs as a team. I don't like when we play them, but we're also really fucking good against the Avs.
Yeah.
Vegas, for me, I enjoy watching Vegas play.
Yeah.
But well, actually, that's right. They play
the
Jets.
Vegas
So I hate both of them this season because we can't seem to beat the Golden Knights to save our lives this year. And the Jets have just been douchebags to us the last couple of games, especially our last fucking home game. When their coach called our coach, or I think he was saying it to Hartman. They called him, I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Something not nice, like the non-PC of someone being short, right?
Yeah.
And you could outwardly see Rita's lips that's what he said. And then he was like threatening Evanson, and Evanson just like pointed to the ice like, let's fucking go then, And Evanson will fuck a guy up in a fight.
Let's watch the coaches
remember that
fight.
from when he played.
Fuck the goalie fight.
I'm here for that.
Fight.
But
we did almost get one a few years ago when Gretzky was coaching for the Coyotes against the Ducks. The coach, it was fucking Boudreaux and fucking Gretzky. I was hoping.
But yeah, I mean, Evanson wasn't like, he wasn't a dirty player, but he was an aggressive player. So I'm like, he will murder you if you fought him. Same with Guerin. Like, Guerin is a tougher player too, not quite as much as Evanson was, but but yeah, so like, I hate Winnipeg. I'm more mad at Winnipeg than I am at Vegas, but I think we have a better chance of beating Winnipeg than Vegas.
It's fair.
So I would rather see Winnipeg win it.
That's fair.
In that division, but I think that's another good pairing too.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if the Kraken go all the way, I'll cheer for the Kraken.
That'd be the coolest story.
They're fun. Yeah,
it would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys want to get your questions featured on this lovely segment, hit us up in the comments. Hit us up on social media. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Danger.
Yes, sir.
Some coach shakeups.
We did have
Some
we've had
major
3
ones.
thus far. That we'll talk about.
3 pretty big ones.
3 huge ones, yeah. Last off season there were 10 head coaching changes. And it says it worked out for a number of clubs, including the Bruins, Gold Knights, Stars, Jets, and Panthers, and Islanders.
Which
Yeah.
are all,
Who've all made the postseason, with the first year with a new coach.
Sometimes it's helpful.
Sometimes it's helpful. But the first one was Dallas Eakins, or Ekins?
Eakins.
Aikens.
Aikens.
Yeah.
You say tomato, I say
Potato.
Aikens.
Yeah, exactly.
His contract was going to expire at the end of the season anyway, but the Ducks made the decision to renew his deal, or to not renew.
Yeah.
It says made the decision to renew his deal and look somewhere else for a head coach. I think that's a typo.
Somebody.
Yeah.
He was with that organization for 4 seasons. The Ducks finished under .500 every year. His record was 100, 147, and 44.
So
not a great record.
I also, my heart goes out to Dallas Eakins because he was put in a very difficult situation from the start.
Right.
And he never once complained. He never once made a stink. And he always carried himself with the utmost class, and I have nothing but respect for that man. And not only what he tried to accomplish with the Anaheim Ducks, but everything he did for the AHL San Diego Gulls. So he was a call up for us.
Right.
Yeah. I was just gonna mention
the guy's a good coach. Wasn't entirely his fault, but that's kind of how things shake up,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have like that unfortunate record for your 4 seasons. They gave you 4 years. You weren't able to make much of it. I don't think that one shocked many people.
But I hope he has nothing but success, though. I hope he has nothing but success, and I hope he finds a coaching job and it works. Because he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Right. The one that did surprise me more than Eakins is Peter Laviolette.
I was not at all surprised that we said goodbye to Lavi.
Right. Yeah. I know you were, but you paid more attention. As an outsider, that, granted, I see more stuff in my, Facebook feed about them because I follow more teams now since starting the podcast than I did years past.
Right.
His contract was also due to expire at the end of the season. They did elect to part ways with the coach, but he had taken over for Todd Reardon in 2020. His record was 115, 78, and 27. And I think that goes to show more. That's the surprising part because he had a winning record, he
was above 500.
The playoffs. He made the playoffs in the first 2 seasons, but he lost in the first round every year. Well, the team lost. It wasn't his fault per se, but anyway,
it was his fault.
The postseason miss this year marked the organization's first time not playing in the playoffs since 2014.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is that I think is the biggest one. Unclear. It says it's unclear the direction the Capitals are heading after a disappointing 2022-23 season. Captain Alex Ovechkin has made it known he has no interest in sticking around for a rebuild. Which I didn't know, but that's
sportingnews.com. So what it is when he was in his contract negotiations with Brian McClellan, who is our general manager, he told McClellan, he was like, while I am here, you guys aren't going to do a massive rebuild. We need to always be competitive, and you will make sure that we are competitive. Ovechkin will never leave Washington. He will retire a Capital, and he has also made that incredibly known.
Right.
There's no doubt that his contract will get renewed every time that it stalls or anything like that. It's because there are other considerations, some that we don't hear about, but some that we do, like that one.
Right. But so it says the Caps are likely going to retool this offseason and compete in the fall while bringing in a new bench boss. So
we also let go 2 of our assistant coaches as well.
Right.
Which one I was
not
like,
on this list. but like, Pittsburgh like blew up their entire
They
high up office
cleaned out
except
their
for
front of office.
entire
Yeah.
fucking front office.
Yeah.
The only thing they kept around were assistant coaches.
And head coach, because their head
Mike
coach
Sullivan's
isn't on
gone.
this list. Oh,
Mike
then
Sullivan's gone.
I
that
haven't
didn't
seen
make
that.
this list.
Yeah. Yep,
I
my
haven't seen that
dad
yet.
said that too. Which again,
Yeah, that's not on this list. So
Yeah.
and
Which
if it's a
makes me
false
wonder.
report, then it is.
Yeah,
But
this was
my
as of
dad follows
yesterday.
it through like
Right.
Pittsburgh stuff. But
Right.
like, it doesn't surprise me that they cleaned house. That team
Yeah.
had the tools to be a playoff team, and they didn't make it. And
Right.
there is no excuse for that. Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
know Pittsburgh is very capable of being a playoff team. But when it mattered most, they couldn't get it done. So
Mhm.
Right.
if I'm ownership, I understand why you do that and why you make that move.
But yeah, so and maybe it's just that the ink hasn't dried on the separation agreement yet. So
Right.
It might be
Who
that it's
knows?
heavily rumored that they're saying goodbye, but they haven't
Right.
made the official announcement.
And
Right.
and
But
like
yeah,
the
they
man
blew
brought
up the
2
front
Stanley
office.
Cups with that to that team.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
it's not like he's just gonna be fucking dismissed.
Right.
He's done a lot for that
Right.
organization. But
Right.
Right.
if
But he's
they
also,
do
56 and
yeah.
55, sorry, but
If there's a chance that he is released, I'd be shocked a little bit. If he was actually fired, I do get
Right.
it, but I'd be a little surprised. But no, that team, plain and simple,
Well-
there's no fucking excuse for not making the playoffs with the roster that they have.
he has a son named Matthew too.
Well, love it.
Anyway, but so in 2019 he had signed a 4-year extension too, so they might just be waiting.
For it to run out, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's certainly cheaper to do that.
But the last one on the current list that we have was Brad Larson from the Columbus Blue Jackets. He
Yeah.
was there for just 2 seasons. They did fire him with 1 year left on his contract. He took over for John Tortorella, I think is how you say that, in
Yep.
2021. His record was 62, 86, 16.
Not good.
Failing to reach the postseason and finish this year with the worst record in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
2 good things was the signing of star winger Johnny Gaudreau last offseason, and the team holding the second highest odds at Bedard and the number 1 pick. They don't want to drag out their stay in the NHL cellar much longer, which is an awesome way of saying that.
Fuck them. We have the best odds.
Right? But they said the second highest. So
Yeah. That's why I say fuck them. We have number 1.
right.
But yeah, that's not a
they
surprise.
are going to be
move.
looking for elsewhere. So
You
none of
signed
these
Johnny
3 teams
Gaudreau
have a
in the off
replacement in there.
season, and you finish one of the worst teams.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Yeah, the worst
Columbus
in your
is
conference.
way better than that. We've all watched them play. We all know they're better.
Oh
than
yeah. Columbus, can do better. They can be better. But so, and then just to touch on some of the potential, this is, again, according to sportingnews.com, but potential coach candidates, like I mentioned, Andrew Brunette, who's the Devils assistant coach. And it just says there's no coincidence that Brunette's arrival in New Jersey correlates with the team's success this season.
Right.
He led the Panthers prior to joining them for President's Trophy finish in 2021-22. He was expected last season to get a head coaching gig, but Florida elected not to make him the full-time head coach, and they went with Paul Maurice instead. Brunette had to settle with the associate job alongside Lindy Ruff in New York. But like Bruno played for us here in Minnesota. I mean, he's been all over the NHL for a while. He, I think, was even in our coaching team or recruitment or something for a hot minute after he stopped playing. But
Yeah.
so I'd love to see him get one of these jobs. I love Brunette. The next one is Spencer Carberry from the Maple Leafs. He's an assistant coach. With them, he's only 41, but he's not I guess, coached the Hershey Bears too, and was named 2021 Coach of the Year.
Yep.
So I didn't know that. The Tampa Bay Lightning assistant coach Jeff Basil. So he's finishing up his first year as assistant coach with John Cooper.
Yeah.
But he is one of these 2. Mike Volucci, the Penguins assistant coach. He is 56 and is an assistant to Mike Sullivan.
Mhm.
And he's been there for 3 seasons. Travis Green, former Canucks head coach. Everyone deserves a second chance, right?
Right.
It says Green's first kick at the NHL head coaching didn't go great. As the head coach with the Canucks, Green compiled a losing record with 3 out of 4 seasons, made playoffs just once before he was fired partway through 2021-22.
That's a fucking understatement. It went
right?
poorly.
Yeah. But so he's up there. Jay Leach, the Kraken assistant coach, is also considered a candidate. He was considered to be a final candidate for the Kraken's first head coaching job, but Seattle went with Dave Hextall.
Which
the
I
team
think
brought
was a
Leach
good
on
pick.
board. Right,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Hextall's a great coach, so yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
Mhm. Steve Ott, who is the Blues assistant coach.
Love
the
me
Blues
some
fired
Steve
2 of its
Ott.
3, right? 2 of their 3 assistant coaches a week ago, but they did not fire Steve.
Yeah.
He was the lone assistant coach on the staff to keep his job, a testament to how well he does in his role. Since he was hired in 2017, he did help the team win the Stanley Cup in 2019, where they defeated the Bruins in the final. But he's only 40 too, so
Yeah.
Which I
he could
think
have
is
a
good.
long tenure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if an organization wants to give him a shot.
Yeah.
And lastly, talking again of young coaches, is Ryan Warzowski, the Sharks assistant coach. He's only 35, so he's younger than I am currently.
Yeah.
But he's on the fast track to becoming an NHL head coach. He is considered a finalist for the Sharks head coaching job in the 2022 season, but they did decide to go with David Quinn instead. But then Quinn brought him in as an assistant coach, which I totally understand.
Right.
Warzowski became the second youngest head coach since Laviolette.
Laviolette.
Yeah.
You can call him Lavi, though.
In
Everybody else says.
1999. Yeah. So Lavi had won in 1999, was the youngest head coach to win an AHL championship, leading Chicago Wolves to 2022 victory, Cadler Cup victory. Warzowski was their coach. Not many coaches at his age get head coaching gigs, but Warzowski could soon get that title. So just some thoughts. We obviously don't know who they're going to go with. It might not be anybody on that list. We have no idea, but we can definitely see, and we'll keep everybody updated on any other changes and things that happen.
By the way,
and for the Caps, I was just going to say real quick that the Caps, they let go of 2 of their coaches. One, Blaine Forsyth, and the second being Kevin McCarthy. Blaine Forsyth had been in charge of our power play since he was on staff in 2013. And he had done a great job for a really long time. Previously, we were ranked 3rd in the league for the previous 8 seasons, but this year we dropped to 16th. So yeah, gotta go. Clearly, you're not keeping up with shit. If we go from 3rd to 16th, that's a huge, huge drop. And then Kevin McCarthy had been running defense with Peter Laviolette, who was one of Peter's bring-ins for nearly 2 decades, including his time in Carolina where they won the cup. But our defense was really fucking awful, and we left our goalie out to dry repeatedly. So that's why those 2 specifically were also let go at the same time.
Right.
Which makes sense.
I'm surprised we didn't fire ours. Fun little fact before we move on to the next segment about my boy Steve Ott. We love ourselves a naughty boy. And in his 848 career NHL games, he had 1,555 career penalty minutes.
Wow.
Love it.
Dude, I fucking love Steve Ott, man. He was a great player. He had a really great career. Most notably where he played his best hockey was with the Sabres. His 2-year stint. And I love 2 years removed from being a player as a coach, he wins the fucking Stanley Cup. The one thing he got so close to, but never got as a player.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the youth movement as coach, for coaching in the NHL. I'm excited to see where it goes. But shout out to Lindy Ruff, man. That guy was out of the game for like 3 or 4 years when New Jersey called him. And in his 3rd season, he turned that team around into a playoff team.
Absolutely. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
D,
Yeah,
well, I think it's about that time. You tell us who
I
our
think
3
it is
stars
about
of the
that time.
week are.
absolutely. So this is the last 3 stars of the regular season. So this is who we are going to cap the season off with, which I think is actually kind of fitting when you look at who one of the first stars is. So
Yup.
for our third star, we have Laurent Brossois, who's a goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights. And if it's not pronounced Brossois, you're a liar because that's a French Canadian fucking name.
That whole
And
name
you're
is
lying to
French,
yourself.
bro.
Yeah. So nobody correct me because I'm right and you're wrong. Anyway,
All right. I mean,
so
you're
he
right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
thank you. Thank you. He only let up 1 goal in each of his two starts, so they won those games flat out. So 1.00 goals against average and a 9.62 save percentage for the Golden Knights that week. They closed their regular season on an 8-game point streak, which is also really cool, with that being 5 wins and 3 overtime losses, which still get you that coveted 1 point to push you up in the rankings. This is their 3rd division title in their first 6 NHL seasons, as well as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So he denied 20 shots in a 4-1 triumph on April 3rd, and then making 30 stops, highlighted by stopping all 18 attempts he faced over the final 2 periods, and a 3-1 division clinching victory on April 13th. He is 30 years old and has played in 11 total games this season. So he was 7-0-3 with 2.17 goals against average and 9.27 save percentage. That includes a 5-game winning streak dating from April 1st to the end of the regular season. So that's really impressive. Of his 11 games, he won 7 of them. Shout out to him. I think that's definitely why they gave him
And
that.
dude, Vegas has made everyone in the Pacific Division their bitch since they came into the league.
Yeah.
So
for our second star, we have Brent Burns, who's a defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes.
that
He
still feels
scored in
weird
all
to hear.
3 of his games to end the final week of the season this year. He led the NHL with 4 total goals to propel the Hurricanes into their to a 2-win, 1-loss week and their 3rd straight division title. He found the back of the net once in a 3-2 loss to Ottawa and in a 4-1 victory over the Detroit Red Wings. Then he added 2 goals, including the tie-breaking tally early in the 3rd period and a 6-4 division-clinching win over the Florida Panthers on April 13th. Burns is 38 and he was acquired in a July trade, produced one of the most prolific offensive seasons, going 18 goals and 43 assists in 82 games played, by a defenseman of his age, tying for the most goals with Ray Bourque at age 39 in 1999/2000, recording the 3rd most points and matching the 5th most assists by a blue liner at age 38 or older. He also placed among the top 2022-2023 defensemen of any age in goals, tied for 3rd with 18, points for 12th with 61, assists tied for 13th with 43, power play assists 14th with 19, and power play points 14th with 23.
Jesus. Dude, there's still a lot of tread left on them tires for Brent Burns. He's not
absolutely.
ready to retire.
No.
It does still feel weird hearing him play as a defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean, he's still doing work.
It fucked me up, man, when I saw him on their game, skating, because I completely forgot that he had gotten traded because he played for us for a while and then
he played most of his career with San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around a little bit.
A little bit.
But yeah, I mean, he was on the, I think, original Wild team that or shortly after we, the franchise started. But
03-04 was his rookie season.
Okay.
And
so we started in 2000. So
and then from
it was my senior year.
2011 to 2022, he was with the
Right.
Sharks. So he played the majority of his career with the Sharks, but the first 6 or 7 years with Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So that leads us into our first star, which is a name we're all familiar with, Jason Robertson, who is a left winger for the Dallas Stars. So he had 1 goal, 5 assists, and 3 contests to help Dallas close the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, which is also really awesome. So they clinched the number 2 seed in the Central Division. He opened the week with a pair of 3-point performances, in a 6-1 victory against the Red Wings, followed by a trio of assists and a 5-2 triumph over the St. Louis Blues. He then was held off of the score sheet in a 1-0 win against the Blues later that week. The 23-year-old finished the regular season with 46 goals and 63 assists in 82 appearances for a total of 109 points, ranking amongst the top players in power play points, 5th overall with 41. Points overall with he's placed 6th with 109. Goals overall, he is 7th with 46. His plus minus, he is 7th at plus 37. Power play assists, he's tied for 8th with 28. Shots on goal, he's 9th overall with 313 shots on goal. For assists, he's tied at 10th with 63. His 109 points were the most by a U.S.-born player in a single season at age 23 or younger, ahead of the 107 previously set by Jimmy Carson in 1987, and tied Jeremy Roenick in 1992, as well as the second most by a player of any age in Stars/North Stars history, behind only Bobby Smith in 1981-82 when they were in Minnesota. So he's done quite a lot this season, and honestly, he's probably one of the reasons why the Stars are in the playoffs at all.
Oh yeah,
Because he's been such a huge contributor to the team.
And I think it's only fitting that I'm pretty sure the first of the 3 stars of the week segment from the beginning of the season.
Yes, was
I'm
Robertson.
pretty sure he was number 1. So I think it's only fitting that Jason Roberts, the fucking final one for the regular season.
Yeah, he's an impressive kid.
He's been so impressive, and he just came out of nowhere. And I honestly think he's the best left winger in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to look past his abilities this season.
Right.
Absolutely. He's been named a couple of times to the 3 stars of the week.
Which is
overall.
Which is wild, to think about.
Right.
And he's only 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This kid hasn't even reached his prime yet.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
You know what else is crazy?
What?
We have our first official announcement for retirement this season.
We do.
Beloved NHL goalie Craig Anderson, at 41 years old, officially announced his retirement. And he went out a winner. Buffalo beat the Ottawa Senators, his former team, I have you, in overtime 4-3.
Yeah.
Dude, Craig Anderson has had quite the career. See, let me pull up his stats. He has played 709 games. He will retire with a record of 319 wins, 275 losses, 2 ties, and 71 overtime losses. He will retire with a goals against average of 2.86, which is really, really good. Save percentage of .912. And he played for 5 different teams in his career, starting all the way back in 2002 with the Chicago Blackhawks. He then played for 6 teams. Then he went on for a 3-year stint with the Florida Panthers, 2 years with the Colorado Avalanche, most notably the big portion of his career with the Ottawa Senators, 1 season with the Washington Capitals, and last 2 years of his career as a Buffalo Sabre. Listen, I got nothing but love for Craig Anderson. Dude, I wish you nothing but happiness in the rest of your post-playing career. Whatever you choose to do, go fucking do it the best you can. We know he's successful on the ice. He'll be even more successful off.
Absolutely.
But the bigger story, which we touched on last week, Jonathan Toews officially played his final game as a Chicago Blackhawk.
Very interesting.
It was announced last week that they would not be renewing his contract. And he has not outright said that he's retiring. He's said that he's going to talk to his girlfriend and his family, and he's going to figure out what's next for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, most notably, we've discussed in the past couple years, he's dealt with long COVID symptoms that has actually even kept him out for a full season.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's next. What do you guys think's next for him? Danger, we'll start with you. What do you think's next for Taves?
I don't know. I don't think. I think had they not came out and said we're not going to renew him, I think he would have retired. I think that he's not going to retire now because it's kind of a like, fuck you. I want to go out on my own terms. But I don't know where he goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know who's
And
going to
that's
pick him
the
up.
hard part. But I think that he, and for what he's done for the game, he definitely deserves to be able to go out on his terms. So
Oh, yeah.
him being able to, get paired with another team, at least for a little while, I think is what's going to end up happening. I don't know what team it's going to be with. And that's the hard part.
I mean, he's played his entire career with one team.
Yeah.
3 Stanley Cup
He-
championships, 883 career points.
Yeah.
He had previously said he thought he was going to retire a Blackhawk. So I don't know if that's something that's going to weigh into his decision making, that like, yeah, the contract wasn't extended, but ultimately, like, do you want the last sweater you wear to be the one that you gave your like literal blood, sweat, and tears
Right.
to? Or do
Yeah.
you want to go to a
Right.
new team just so you can say you played one more game when you said I couldn't? I don't
Yep.
know where he lands on that, but I think that
Yeah.
once he does decide to retire, which I think will be within the next 1 year, maybe 2 if he's going to stretch it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make the move over to commentary, and I think we're going to see him on TNT
Yeah.
or ESPN or
Which-
something like
Yeah.
that.
I think
Which
he'd
I
be
think he'd
great
be
at,
fine at.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's 34. So it's not like,
Yeah.
Right.
he's in his like late 30s, early 40s playing
Right.
past his, any
Yeah.
semblance of, anything. In 53 games, he had 31 points this.
Yeah,
Right.
which isn't
That's
anything that's
obviously
not bad. I
not.
think it was just
Yeah.
incredibly tough for him because of like he was still putting points on the board, but I think it took a toll on him because of the long COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
If he does decide to continue, D, where do you think might be a good fit for him?
Oof. It would be kind of interesting to see him go to the Rangers, obviously, because of the
To
Kane
join
connection.
Patty? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see him being a leader for Detroit, but I think Detroit won't take him because they're trying to get younger, and obviously that's the opposite direction. But I think his
Yeah.
leadership would be helpful for Detroit.
That's a good point.
Maybe the Panthers, because the Panthers do seem to love people who maybe are past their prime. And I mean that with all due respect. Those would be the top things I can think of, the top teams.
What do
Yeah.
you think, Danger?
I like I said before, I don't know. I not knowing where people are like with contract cap space and all of that shit too. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to
And what
really
he's willing to
play
accept
out.
as well.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, here, let me throw this out to you guys. Do you know where he's
Okay.
from?
No.
Where?
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh. So maybe
To
retire
play-
as a Jet?
To play one season
Maybe.
at home?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But no, needless to say, listen, whether he chooses to retire or he decides he wants to continue playing, Jonathan Taves is a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think we're all going to keep a very close eye where
Yeah.
that goes to.
Absolutely.
D, I know you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah.
Let's get a little heavy here.
I know. Sorry to bring y'all down. I'm sorry. But unfortunately, we do have another NHL player who passed this season. Former Stars wing Raymond Sawada died at 38 years old last Monday, the 10th, while playing a game of hockey. His
Yeah.
family announced that they have created a GoFundMe to honor his memory and to help his family, as he is survived by his wife Nicole and their daughters Victoria and Charlotte, who are 9 and 6 respectively.
So hard.
unfortunately, so they didn't give the exact cause of death. However, the Richmond News, which that's in British Columbia, said that he suffered cardiac failure Monday night at a recreational league game that he had been enjoying playing in. And the city of Richmond confirmed that that a medical emergency occurred that night at the rink.
Yeah.
Sawada appeared in 11 games for the Stars from 2008 to 2011, scoring just 1 goal. He played in 287 games in the American Hockey League and then retired in 2016, where he returned home to Richmond to become a firefighter.
That's awesome.
In the GoFundMe, it says that Ray was such a bright light to the lives he touched. He enjoyed traveling with Nicole, the girls, and family and friends. He was a talented hockey player and a dedicated coach for his girls. Ray was passionately driven and motivated in everything he did, and the surrounding community will be left with a void. And I would just like to note that as of time of recording, they have raised over $349,160 Canadian dollars
That's awesome.
to help his family recover from the loss of their father.
That's awesome.
And I'm so happy that the hockey community has come together in this way to honor him and to support his family, because I can only imagine what they're going through.
Yeah.
It has to be a lot. And so we just wanted to say to Ray's family that we are so sorry for the passing of Ray Sawada, but that we are with you and we can't wait to see how you guys honor his memory going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one hit hard, him being a couple years older than me. I think I was at work when I first saw that he had passed. And, anytime, any hockey player is sad, but the line that got me in the article that I saw was his family had said something about thankfully he passed doing what he loved, or something along those lines. And it's like, oh, my heart, just take it out and stomp on it. Why don't you
Right.
But I mean, anytime obviously a player or coach dies, it's sad, but to have somebody die on the ice
mid-game,
granted, mid-game, even though it wasn't an NHL game, it's fucking traumatic for everybody involved.
But he was still doing what he loved, and I
exactly,
think that's the important part. And that's, I think, how we all want to go up,
absolutely
doing something we enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. So, that one was really a big bummer.
It was. Absolutely.
Well, moving on. We do have a couple of naughty boys. Surprisingly enough, they both. Yeah, but both happened in games with the Wild.
Yeah.
Neil Pionk, Punky Ponk, whatever. Neil from the Winnipeg Jets did get a $5,000 fine for cross-checking Marcus Johansson into the boards. It was a nasty cross-check. I'm glad he got fined.
We discussed it last week. There's no reason.
It was bad. There was no reason for it. No. And thankfully, honestly, JoJo's okay. But... It should have been. I agree fully.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring that up. I couldn't remember if we had for sure talked about it last week, because it was like the night of recording.
Oh yeah. We made a big stink about it.
So we may have talked about it after the show too.
No, we finished watching the game before we started recording, and we all were like,
"That's right."
That was bullshit.
That's
so
bullshit.
Thankfully, because I thought for sure he broke a rib, because you could tell he was winded.
He was hurt.
Thankfully, he was able to play last
pads.
night. Yeah,
it wasn't even exactly. It was underneath the pads.
Yeah,
right, and
it was underneath and up.
So
fuck, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a dick.
There's no need for that shit.
Fuck you, Neil.
But also, on the 12th, so the following night, Ryan Hartman from the Minnesota Wild got another penalty for interference against Nikolai Ehlers of the Jets. Kind of a similar. I mean, it was like a receipt. So anyway, he got suspended for 1 game. I know we talked about it last week too. Then because it had happened, we weren't sure. Yeah.
But
it wasn't. I don't know. It was one of those where
I get it.
It was an unfortunate landing.
I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hartman did get a no swipe for that one. Almost on the it was almost the 1 year anniversary too. It was like 2 days early of him flipping off Kane and getting fined all that money.
That's so funny.
And the awesome
Worth it.
fucking raising money for charity that happened that followed that, and it was So, but yeah, I saw it was so that's partially why it was such a big deal, is it was 1 calendar year, and it was shame on you, Hartman, but also more power to you, dude.
So he needs to make this a thing every year. He needs to get
apparently
a fine
at
and that
playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
And thankfully, being suspended the game before our final home game was fine. It sucked that he wasn't able to play in the final home game of the regular season, but at least he's not taken out for playoffs.
Yeah, he's still in playoff availability.
Right. So, and because, we just have the playoff teams, I am, just for the sake of starting on a clean slate, going to talk about anybody that's on the list currently for the playoff teams. So some of them will be old news, but I figured that way we just start with clean slate.
Perfect.
So for Boston, we have Patrice Bergeron, who is nursing an upper body ailment. Remains to be seen if he will lace up for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference against the Panthers. So I don't know if that means that he was hurt yesterday or not.
He didn't play yesterday. I knew that.
Okay, he did play. So that was my one question on it. For Carolina, we have Jake Gardinier, who is out indefinitely, but he was shifted long-term IR list last year with a hip injury. So he's been out all season, probably not coming back for playoffs, but I wanted to bring him up. Andre Kasse has a concussion. He was on long-term IR with the concussion, won't return until end of April. So they are hoping to at least get him back. Max Pacioretty is on long-term IR after he tore his Achilles tendon on the right foot.
Poor Patty.
I know, as of February of this year. So he's out for the rest of the season. Andrei Svechnikov is also designated long-term. He had surgery to repair torn ACL, will miss the rest of the season and playoffs. For Colorado, we have Andrew Cogliano. Andrew Cogliano has an upper body injury, unknown if he will be available for Game 1, this says, so we don't know if he played tonight, is basically what this is saying, and I'm not going to look up what their roster was, so y'all are on your own on that one. Darren Helm is out with a lower body injury, out indefinitely as of the beginning of April. Gabriel Landeskog is out for the rest of the season. He did have to have arthroscopic knee surgery. Cale Makar has been idle with a lower body issue. They did think that they were going to play him tonight against the Kraken, but again, we're not 100% sure. Dennis Malgin says is battling an unspecified issue, has not yet been determined if he will play against the Kraken today. I clicked off of something.
And it looks like Cale Makar is playing.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And Cogliano is not.
Okay. And yeah. And Josh Manson is the other one. He was out of the lineup due to lower body injury. They're saying it's likely that he was going to lace up for tonight's game.
Yeah, Manson and Malgin are in.
Okay. For Dallas, unfortunately, it was an unfortunate hit. Well, a clean hit, unfortunate landing is how I worded it last night. And I was like, I'm keeping it. But Joe Pavelski left the game with an undisclosed injury. His head, I thought it was his own stick. Apparently it was Ryan Hartman's stick. But as Matt Dumba hits him, his head hits Hartman's stick. And then as he falls, his head hits the ice. And it was a really unfortunate landing. Pav was definitely out of it. Lights were on, but nobody was home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a second where Pavelski was out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. He may or may not be able to be back for Game 2 tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll see him back. the article I saw earlier too, somebody had asked the coach about concussion protocol. They said that they just didn't have that information yet. So that was my thought, was that he probably has a concussion. So hopefully they don't rush him back. But I also know he won't want to miss the playoffs per se. For Edmonton, we have, I almost said Matt Murray. Ryan Murray, who's been shuttled to the IR with a back injury, not expected to come back until late April. So may be able to come back for some of the playoffs. For the Florida Panthers, we have Sam Bennett, who is on IR with a groin issue, out indefinitely as of right now. And that was updated last week. Patrick Hornquist is out for the season with a concussion. And Spencer Knight is also out indefinitely because he is in the NHLPA Player Assistance Program. For the Kings, we have Kevin Fiala, who is out with a lower body injury, just says out indefinitely, as is Gabriel Velarde, who is out with an upper body injury, out indefinitely as well. For Minnesota, we have Joel Eriksson-Ek, who is out indefinitely. The lower body injury, he is starting to skate on his own, but he has yet to be cleared, considered week to week moving forward. John Klingberg is out with a lower body injury, may be able to come back for tomorrow night's game 2, but not 100% sure. I hit the freaking button again.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an injury segment without it.
Right, if I didn't hit the side buttons.
At least once.
Mason Shaw is out for this season. He did last week have his ACL surgery, but is staying in Minnesota. He's hanging out with the team. He's still going to almost every practice, watching and hanging out with the guys, which I think is awesome. And then Oscar Sundqvist is limited due to a lower body injury, may or may not be able to come back tomorrow night for the next game. So we'll see. But hopefully we'll get Sonny and Klingberg back. There was some rumors that he may have broken a bone or something in his foot or his lower leg, but we're not sure. So hopefully it's just a bad sprain. For New Jersey, Jonathan Bernier is out indefinitely, shuttled to IR with a hip injury. And for the Islanders, we have Alexander Romanov out indefinitely with a left arm injury, no current timetable. And Oliver Wahlstrom, who is on IR with a lower body ailment, out for the rest of the season. That happened in February, or was updated, I should say, in February.
Yeah.
For Seattle, we have Andre Brubovsky. You know who I'm talking about.
Burakovsky.
Thank you. It was that K, the first K. My brain was I can't comprehend it. But he is on IR after having surgery to repair a lower body injury. No specifics on what surgery or where. Remains to be unseen, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. On when he'll be back, but probably not in playoffs. For Jonas Donskoy, is on IR with a likely concussion, missing in an undetermined length of time. That was updated in January. So we probably won't see him in playoffs. And John Hayden is out for this season after having surgery for a lower body injury. For Tampa Bay, we have Eric Cernak, is tending a head injury. Uncertain if he'll be able to play in game 2 for their round against the Maple Leafs. Michael Esimont? I don't know who that is. Anyway, he has an unknown ailment and is also questionable for Thursday's game 2. Victor Hedman is nursing an unspecified injury, remains unseen if he will lace up Thursday as well. Tanner Janot is managing a lower body injury, also uncertain if he'll dress for game 2. And then Brent Seabrook is on long-term IR while recovering from shoulder and hip surgeries. This was updated back in October of last year, so he will not be back for playoffs. I can confidently say. For Toronto, we have Eric Gustafsson. Was hobbled. There's a new verb for us.
Ooh.
Hobbled by an upper body injury. Yet to be determined if he will face the Lightning in game 2, which is Thursday night. Bobby man, out indefinitely with a knee injury. The severity, though, is unknown, so no other info there. Victor Met is on long-term IR with a lower body injury. Not expected, rather, to return until the latter part of April. Matt Murray is out with a head injury. No timetable currently established for him. Jake Muzzin was moved to long-term IR with a cervical spine injury and out for the rest of the season, as is Nicholas Robertson, who was added to long-term IR with a shoulder injury, will not return this season. For Vegas, we have William Carrier out of action with a lower body injury without a timetable for his recovery. Aiden Hill is out with a lower body injury, not expected to return until end of April. Robin Leonard is on that IR with having shoulder surgery and requires hip surgery. Last updated in September of last year, so he is out for the season, as is Nolan Patrick with an upper body injury. And then Logan Thompson is out with a lower body injury, will remain idle until the end of April.
Yeah, they need him back. That's their
Yeah.
starting goaltender.
Why did this cut off?
Yeah, Howden, Stone, and
That's
White Cloud
Winnipeg.
are playing tonight.
Yeah,
Yep.
they weren't on my list at all, so that's good.
Good.
Winnipeg just got cut off, so let me up.
Oh, it must be when you updated it. It pulled it.
Yeah, Cole. So I wasn't sure if anybody was below Cole.
Yeah.
But for Winnipeg, Nikolai Ellers has an upper body injury, may or may not be back for game 2 Thursday night against the Golden Knights. Sam Gagner is expected to miss the rest of the season after he had a hip surgery that was last updated in March. And Cole Perfetti. Okay, my brain was thinking there should be another letter in there, like Perfetti. I don't know. Anyway, Perfetti is on IR with an upper body injury. Last updated in February that he was going to miss at least 8 weeks. But this is also saying maybe late April. So Cole might be able to come back in time for some playoff games. If he's lucky. But yeah, Stenlund was also hurt, but is playing tonight. So, but he is also taken off the list. So, I'm going to print this so that I have, I think that's how I'm going to do it next year. Yeah.
Smart.
Trying something else for once, but yeah.
Well, that was surprisingly short. I mean, I guess when you only have 16 teams, it just moves quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And that makes life so much easier to only have to worry about all the injuries from the playoff teams, because Montreal's was a fucking
dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm
bad.
surprised they could play any hockey this season with how many people they ended up with on the injured list.
For real. But I think it's that time. For some people's favorite segment.
Absolutely.
I'd like to think it's everyone's favorite because it's fun. But it is time for our obscure NHL player of the week. And we're gonna go with the player more recent.
Wonderful.
We're gonna go with a player by the name of Jake Dowell. Jake Dowell was drafted 140th overall in 2004 by the Chicago Blackhawks. He played with them in 2009-2010, which they most notably, everyone.
I'm not falling for this shit again.
They won the Stanley Cup.
You got me last time. You're not getting me this time.
I was going to say won a potato sack race. But
he might have. I don't know. He only played 3 games with the big club that year, scoring a goal and an assist.
Nice.
He had a little bit of a lengthy career. He played 157 total NHL games with the Chicago Blackhawks, the Dallas Stars, and the Minnesota Wild.
Well, there you go.
He scored 11 goals and 22 assists with a total of 33 points and 133 penalty minutes.
There we go.
Wow, nice.
In his,
Attaboy.
That's the best stat.
AHL career, 519 games, he had 661 total penalty.
Right.
Wow.
He represented his country, the United States, in 5 different occasions. World Junior Championships for 4 of... I'm sorry, I can't count. He represented his country 4 times, 3 of those being World Junior Championships, and he won 2 gold, which isn't bad.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
Wisconsin native retired in 2018, where he was playing in Austria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is 38 years old. He is married, and he and his wife Carly have a daughter and a son.
Cute.
What
love
is
that.
he? But what is he doing now? Is the question.
I don't know. You're the one that researched it. Why don't you
You know
tell me,
what?
Chris?
This is true. It doesn't say what he's doing currently.
Enjoying life. That's what he's doing.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, 157 games in the show ain't, it's not
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at.
exactly. I mean, yes, he played more games in the AHL than, but hey, listen,
Hey.
my man cracked triple digits for games.
Yep.
So,
Right.
Shout out to him. I mean, it's always fun to see these players. I think next
It
week
is.
we might give love to I don't know. You know what? I'll tell you
See
what.
what it is next week.
You guys in the comments, tell us what year I should research to find a player. That's what we'll do. We'll do it that way.
Okay.
There we go.
We are still
go.
on the hunt for my white whale, as it were. The player
Yeah.
with one
Again,
game.
if you have any leads on that, let us know.
One game and like 12 penalty minutes. It's
Right.
literally
Right.
me in my Be a Pro creator like series shit on NHL.
Yeah.
Although it's like my first game, I'll have like 10 penalty minutes because I fight and shit.
Just everybody.
That's
Oh
funny.
yeah,
Right.
bombing everyone in the middle of the fucking ice.
Yeah.
But that was our short little segment, the obscure
Wonderful.
NHL Player of the Week. I think on that note, it is time for us to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, as always. If you're new around here and you are seeing us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell to let you know anytime we post new content. If you guys are listening to us on a podcast platform, give us a like, rating, and review. It's really good for us. It lets get some sort of fan engagement. We love hearing from you guys. If you have any questions, find us on our socials. Hit us up on Discord. We're in there all the time. And I don't know. You guys have any parting words before we wrap this biatch up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
We're ready for some playoff hockey. And it's
Hell
going to be a lot of late
Hell
nights.
yeah.
Hopefully those get easier.
Hell yeah.
Oh, listen, as I'll say this as a West Coast hockey fan living on the East Coast, it becomes second nature.
Right.
Yeah.
It
But
becomes
I
second
mean,
nature.
there's like a lot of them that start at like 10 and 10:30. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
dude,
God,
that's
Yeah.
my life. That's my
Oh.
life in a nutshell. When I had to work early morning job,
With the
I
Jets
was-
are
Yeah.
up 3-1.
are they? Kraken are
Kraken
still up 2-1.
2-1.
2-1, yeah. And a second.
I have that game up on one of my monitors. Dude,
But yeah,
look at
I'm
PK Subban,
just surprised.
the fuck chest hair all hanging out on.
Is it?
What a legend!
Love PK.
I love PK. Love
PK's
PK.
great.
Love
but
it.
on that actually, and before we wrap it up, we want to hear from you guys. Who are you most excited to watch in the playoffs right now? Who do you think is going to be the
Hell
most
yeah.
exciting team?
Yeah, let us know.
And on that, thank you guys so much as always, and we will see you motherfuckers next week in the Face Off